will rely on that and of course the previous performance of the 13 games.
Lasting impression din ang gustong iiwan neto ni El Granada, Gary David. He is a beacon of hope para dito sa franchise ng Global Port Batampier. Ito na yung huling silip natin sa kanya before he concentrates on his upcoming stint with the national team sa Gilas, Pilipinas. Gary David, napakaganda ng kanyang komperensya. As usual, always an explosive scorer. What else needs to be done para kay El Granada?
Walang inahanap dito kay Gary David, of course, is always his scoring, and he's been able to do that this conference. But you know, there were changes that were made for Global Port sa simula ng komperensya. Kung tama ba yung mga changes na yun, they were able to get a number of wins initially, pero nahirapan na silang manalo after that. So they will have to evaluate ano pa yung kinakailangan with Gary David. You look at Gary, you know, he's brought his former team before to the finals. Hindi pa siya nanalo ng championship, so kailangan mo tignan yung laro ni Gary. He can definitely score, he can rebound, but to be able to maximize a Gary David, meron din mga pieces of the puzzle that has to be with him to be able to take the team to the next level.
Of course, one of those major pieces in that puzzle, Sol Mercado, will continue to miss action. Third consecutive game hindi makakalaro. Ito si Sol Ray. Gary David, you were mentioning his scoring, talaga namang maaasahan.
No doubt naman yung scoring dito kay Gary David. You know, he'll always try to get his points, and kung hindi manggaling yan in the first quarter, if he's not consistent all quarters, there's one quarter that he will explode. But you know, talking about the changes that Global Port made at the beginning of the conference, solid yung kanilang first five, yung MMDA. But the guys coming off the bench maybe still trying to learn ano ba yung kailangan nilang gawin, ano ba yung kailangan nilang ibigay na minuto para mabigay ng panalo para dito sa Global Port.
David, now 2 for 2 from the field. Last time around, itong Global Port almost won against the Alaska Aces bago sila tumukod pagdating ng dulo. Sting na kasama yan heading into this matchup with Barako Bull.
Well, you know, that was a good game for them, or winnable game. Hindi lang sila nanalo, but at least, di ba, pang 10 dikit-dikit na talo na yun ng Global Port. But the good thing about it is they're still fighting. Hindi sila uubusan ng loob, and that's a good sign, especially for a young team like Global Port.
Para naman dito sa Barako Bull, we see Dynamite Danny Siegel making his first start of the tournament. Dominic, ano ang hinahabol dito ng Energy Cola?
Well, you want your leader. You know, when you look at the Barako Bull, sino bang titignan mong franchise player? Danny Siegel, you know, you could say is the twilight of his career, but can still score. Coming off a 19-point game, you want a Danny Siegel to set the tone, because obviously yung import mo, you won't get too much scoring from DJ Benga. So you want a Danny Siegel who showed a lot of spunk nung last game. Muntik pa siyang mapaaway. So that fire is there for Danny Siegel.
Dynamite Danny is flanked by etong sina Maliksi, Urbistondo, Benga, and Makapagal. Urbistondo locating DJ Benga for the two-handed jam.
Probably the easiest 2 points for DJ Benga so far in his PBA career, but a great pass by Josh Urbistondo.
Ang lima naman netong Global Port, nabanggit na natin si Gary David. Nandiyan sila Deutschman, etong si Al Jamal, import nila na si Sly Morgan, at si Reed Puntilla. David dropping it off. Buta tayo nabot ni Sly Morgan. DJ Benga taking care of the rim. Urbistondo stop and pop 3. Sails out of bounds.
Pag-usapan naman natin itong Barako Bull. You know, they also started out well in the conference. There were a lot of hopes for Barako Bull, but also faltered towards the end. Dikit-dikit na rin yung talo nitong Barako Bull. Barako Bull not as young as Global Port, so hinahanapan talaga ng panalo itong Barako Bull. Maybe a number of player changes that happened to them at the beginning of the conference kind of confused itong mga players on what they need to do, so they have to work through those things. And yun nga, nagpalit din sila ng import towards the end. Was that a good decision or a not so good decision? They will have to evaluate that after.
DJ Benga scoring his 4th point of the contest. All 4 points ng Barako galing sa kanilang import. David, catch and shoot. Gets the bounce. 3 for 3 para kay Gary.
7 points now for Gary David. You're talking about his scoring. Definitely on cue, Gary David.
Galing sa 29-point performance yan si El Granada. Maliksi gustong bumawi. Back irons that one. Dynamite Danny loses that rebound. Tumatakbo ang Batang Pier. Puntilla with a pull-up.
Tilla, also a known scorer when he was in the PBA, and then nawala yan ng sandali. And ngayon pagbalik sa PBA ni Ridon Tilla, still a scorer. Once a scorer, always a scorer.
Urbistondo gets it down low. Seagull. Na-switch sa kanya. Ito si Ridon Tilla. No other recourse Reed kundi mamigay ng foul.
I like that time to play of Barako Bull because they're able to post up a Danny Seagull.
Urbistondo to Benga. Hule from behind the Deutschman. Benga gathers himself. Gary David grabs that rebound. El Granada on the move. Down the gut of the defense. Bothered by Benga. Tumatakbo ang Barako. Makapagal to Seagull. Dynamite Danny wanted to slam that home pero nandoon itong si Deutschman and si Morgan.
The aggressiveness showed by Barako Bull in that fast break opportunity, trying to get it to Danny Seagull.
As we take a look at the team standings before the start of this game, nabanggit na natin, eliminated na nga itong magkapalaban ngayon. Barako Bull and Global Port just battling for pride here and just battling to leave a lasting impression.
You know, it's a character game. I'd like to put it as a character game because ito yung mga larong mahirap laruin. You know, alam mong wala na kayong pupuntahan. It's your last game. Manalo or matalo, wala na talagang mangyayari. But you need to be able to play through this game, show what you're made of, show your management, show your team owners, your coaches, what are you made of to be able to secure your future in your team.
Tandaan din natin sa August pa. Natin ulit makikita itong Barako Bull and Global Port. It's going to be somewhat a long off-season as the national team will gear up for the FIBA Asian Championships. Makapagal buries that three. Tablang ating labanan sa 9. Maraming mangyayari in the next few months para dito sa magkabilang franchise. Last time around in the Philippine Cup, sila rin yung maaga nagbakasyon. This time around, they have a longer period of time to try and retool their lineups.
And there will be some changes for sure because you will not just take it lightly yung posisyon mo na na-eliminate ka. Global Port, when you look at their team standings, they improved from last conference. But are they happy with that? I doubt it. You know, they ended up the last time, anong ginawa nila? They brought in a number of players, guys like Japet Aguilar and Sol Mercado. Those were big moves for Global Port. It's going to be interesting. Ano bang gagawin ng Global Port in the offseason?
Deutschman puts it up and in. Naman natin, team owner neto Global Port, hindi sanay na nai-eliminate na maaga ang kanyang mga team.
Well, how many championships did you win in the PBL at that time?
7 straight.
Oh, 7 straight. Of course, we're talking about Mikey Romero.
Of course, he followed up those 7 straight sa PBL, winning championships sa ABL.
At kung ano man yung pasukan ni team owner Mikey Romero is he always excels. So that's something, you know, he won't take lightly. He will want to be able to improve on his team every conference.
But of course, it does take time to really put together a winning franchise. Just take a look at the model of Rain or Shine. It took them a long while to really be talagang nasa relevance ka na every single conference kinakatakutan ka. Still think naman naman yun, back-to-back finals appearance. Tapos ngayon, naka-top 2 pa yung Rain or Shine.
At ang maganda dito sa Rain or Shine, they built it. Diba? They built it. You know, when you look at other teams, babalikan natin yan. Meron akong magandang point dyan na tamang-tama para sa'yo.
Patuloy ang ating kwentuhan sa aming pagbabalik. 5:24 remaining in the first part.
The Axe Apollo Space Academy. Join now at axapollo.com for your chance to go to space.
Rexona Men with Dry Shield. Keeps you free from sweat all day. Make every day count. Do more. Rexona, it won't let you down.
It's Super Bowl Sunday here on PBA On Active. Global Port versus Barako Bull. Pass this pass, hindi na dapat balikan ng mga dating pagkakamali ng Global Port because for Coach Junel Baculi, it's time to move on. And what he likes about his team is that they always want to prove something. And Coach Raiko Toroman feels the same for Barako Bull. Sabi niya, hindi na daw dapat maghanap ng excuses, and hopefully non-bearing games like these will strengthen his team's character. Dom, Magu?
Yun ang pinaka-importante doon.
You know, you gotta take what comes to you and look at it in the positive. Yun nga, test of character. Like I said, players who do not come to play 100% in this ballgame, makikita yan ng coaches, makikita yan ng team owners, and that's not something that they will just sit down and take. Pero Magu, yung pinag-uusapan natin. You know, when you build a team, you look at Global Port, the moves that they made, it was nice. Maganda yung mga pieces na yun. But when you put those pieces, they have to play together to be able to get a championship run. You know, case in point, the Los Angeles Lakers. Diba? Andun yung pieces of the puzzle. Nandun yung Kobe Bryant. You brought in Dwight Howard at your center. Steve Nash. But hindi ganun kadali. It's not just putting all the players together and mananalo na. It's something that they'll need to work through, build the chemistry, and build that character.
Why you gotta hurt me like that?
Hindi, diba?
Atraso ko sa'yo.
Hindi, diba? You cannot, hindi lang naman, you don't just get the best players, put them in one team, and assure ka sa championship.
It's the second time it's happened in 2004. As this game is now at 15-11, Al-Jamal giving Global Port a 4-point lead.
You know, one of the things that if you're part of Barako Bull or if you're part of Global Port, you are excited because there's so much improvement na pwedeng gawin, and your creativity will come out, and how you analyze what's happening to your team and make those changes. Tapos makita mo yung nagawa at kung saan ka na pumunta. Look at Rain or Shine, yung mga bold na gusto mong tignan.
Itong Global Port, putting on a block party inside the Mall of Asia Arena. Tapos sa kabilang dulo, they've been drilling their jumpers. 5 points in the game para dito kay Deutschman.
Jason Deutschman, another player that played a lot of minutes initially last conference and now slowly finding his way back in the rotation.
Benga, deep position, jump hook. Oh. And Jamal wanting to settle down etong Batang Pierre. They continue to build on this 7-point lead. David Metanga ng bola. They go underneath. Linganay backpedals over the outstretched arms of Benga. Coach Raiko has seen enough. Global Port, 9-point lead at this juncture. 30-second timeout requested by Barako Bull.
Global Port shooting 50% from the field. That's why they've got a 9-point lead so far. And look at that. What a great block.
Suki-suki dito si Dynamite Danny. He's been wanting to throw it down, pero 3 beses na siya nauhuli ng depensa netong Global Port, that they have made them pay over at the other end. 3-pointer, fade away. Kung saan-saan ang gagaling ngayon ng puntos netong Batang Pierre.
Well, I like how DJ Benga's moving today in today's ball game. Seems like he's a little bit quicker than the previous stint.
Siyempre, pati din para sa ating mga import like Sly Morgan and DJ Benga, kailangan nila mag-iwan din ng lasting impression for future consideration na makuha ulit dito sa PBA.
Exactly. Because hindi naman magtatapos dito lang yan, ano? Kung maganda ang pakita nila. Plus, you know, madami din nanonood ng PBA. Teams from China and all over the country or all over the world that may be looking at these guys to reinforce them dun sa kanilang mga local leagues.
Maliksi for 3. Doesn't work. Over the back of five. Bola to. You touched on this earlier, Dom, with 3:03 remaining now in this first quarter. Yung character, parang yun ang hinahanap netong Barako Bull. Are they gonna be a Danny Siegel team? Are they gonna be a Josh Urbistondo team? Are they gonna concentrate on their bigs or on their guards? Ano ba ang nangyari sa kanila? Their evolution within this Commissioner's Cup.
Well, when you look at the system that Coach Raiko Toroman has put in, it's really more for the guards. It's something that they had to learn or still learning. So hindi pa nila masyadong na-maximize yan.
As we see a blocking foul whistled on Jason Deutschman, this should send us into our next mandatory timeout. Hihimayin naman natin ang Barako Bull Energy Cola sa aming pagbabalik.
Rexona Men with Dry Shield. Keeps you free from sweat all day. Make every day count. Do more. Rexona, it won't let you down.
Pinagkwentuhan na natin, tinatanong kita kanina, is Barako Bull gonna be a Danny Siegel team? Is it gonna be a Joshua Orbistondo team? Baka pwede rin itong kanilang unsung hero, the very first PBA D-League MVP in Alain Maliksi. He's been playing solid basketball, Dom.
Well, Alain Maliksi definitely, when he first started out in the PBA for Barako, played well, then nagkaroon ng konting injury, got shipped to Ginebra, then now back in Barako Bull. He is showing why he was the former MVP dun sa PBA D-League. And yes, you could pin your hopes on a young guy like Alain Maliksi. But if you're looking at guys that can carry a team, you know, Danny Siegel will always be there because he's so talented. With Danny Siegel, it's just how if he's able to play all throughout the conference. Yun lang naman ang concern para dito kay Danny Siegel. Or you have guys like JC Intal. You know, there's a lot of potential. There are a lot of guys that have a lot of talent na pwede mong gamitin eh. The question now is, where do you put your focus on?
Ako pa, actually, I have a confession. Paborito ko yan eh. Kung si Miko Halili, ang paborito, sina Rob Labagala, sila Eman Monfort. Ako kay Alain Maliksi, ako medyo napapaborito dahil batang Caloocan yan eh. Bihira na magkaroon ng PBA player na galing sa Caloocan.
Pero may announcer na galing sa iyo. Diba? Yun ang matindi dun eh.
Naku, patay tayo dun. Pero you mentioned it, yung mabibigat na pangalan din naman as we see Eman Monfort now part of the five para sa Barako. Of course, you've got the veterans in Siegel and Pinisi, pero nandiyan naman yung mga JC Intal na talaga namang yung potential has always been talked about. How do you tap into that potential? How do you make it into a reality?
Well, you look at it, as a coach, you gotta make a commitment. You gotta make a commitment to your player. Okay, dito tayo pupunta and he has to feel it. He has to know it.
Yung kumpiyansa eh, no?
Yung kumpiyansa. You look at, let's look at this move first of DJ Benga. Getting the basket and the foul. And if you look at, case in point, the Alaska Aces, at that time, or if you look at the history of the Alaska Aces, yung mga point guards, there's only always just one point guard that will play major minutes. Yun ang commitment. You know, if the other teams want to do it differently, then that's their decision, diba? So, depende kung ano yung mag-work for you.
Of course, we're talking about mula pa. Ang lalim naman ng sausaw ni Alain Maliksi doon. Pero we're talking about, of course, mula pa na ni Johnny Abariantos to L.A. Tenorio.
Even Mike Cortez before.
Mike Cortez, and now meron silang
JV Casio.
Pero maganda doon, yung mga backup ni JV when he got hurt. Aba, lumabas din ang laro.
Nagpakita sila. And, you know, that's why you also need a backup. But some
iba
others,
yung commitment mo doon sa
iba yung commitment. But others also believe that you want to be able to put two guys of the same caliber in the same spot to keep them on their toes.
Intal fouled in the act. Tungo siya sa ating free throw line for 2 shots. JC Intal has already become a journeyman of sorts as we take another look at this sweet move mula kay Alain Maliksi, eluding the defense of Sly Morgan.
Parang napakadali ng basketball para dito kay Alain Maliksi. That layup from Maliksi.
As we see the entry of Jojo Duncil and Douglas Kramer. Sabi sa atin kayo, antayin mo, babadak mo yun.
Inaabangan natin yung bicep shot niya.
Yan, ayun nakangiti sa atin. 20 all ang nasa ating talaan. Barako Bull storming back 9-0 run to, Dom, habang tayo nagkikwentuhan, second deadlock of the game.
You know, when you look at a guy like Doug Kramer, the good thing about Doug is kahit hindi siya nagagamit ng game na to, and then maybe a few minutes next game, every time they call on him, he's ready to play.
Yun yung binabanggit kanina nila Coach Ronnie at Coach Richard dito kay Jerwin Gaco. You just always have to be ready. Kramer had a solid Philippine Cup the last 2 times around, pero dahil nga anti-height ng mga imports natin, his minutes has suffered. Lingkana yung nagmamadali sa kabilang dulo. Global Port has recovered the lead here. Couldn't get the 5-0 run. Kramer gets it over to Duncil. Tumatakbo si Monfort. Duncil pa rin may tangan ng bola. Monfort sa kaliwa, Intal sa kanan. Duncil atake sa gitna. Leaner over Miller doesn't work. Sa rebound battle, merong foul. Double foul yata dito kay Salvador and Kramer. So jump ball center court ang mangyayari dito.
Here in the first quarter, Barako Bull now able to get back in this ball game. 20-11 yung lamang kanina ng Global Port. Shooting a little bit better now, but as a whole, still shooting 27%.
Jump ball will have to be at center court dahil double foul ngayon. Binanggit na natin kanina, non-bearing itong laron to. Pero kita mo naman, nagbabakbakan pa rin sa ilalim mga malalaro dito.
Well, like you said, it's a game of pride. I'd like to put it maybe a game of character to show what you're made of.
Monfort trying to shovel it over to Intal. Taken away by Marquis. Marquis bagong pasok, playing the lane. Slash shot time para dito sa Batang Pierre. Miller is fouled by Duncil. First team foul pa lang yan para dito sa Barako. They can give up 4 more. Kramer does so. Kontra dito kay Japet Aguilar.
Mukhang hindi rin maglalaro ito today's ball game. Itong si Sean Anthony ang Barako Bull. We don't see him suited up.
Aguilar launches. Would have counted. Pero yung na-back iron yung tira na yun. 23-20 ang nasa ating dalaan. Etong Global Port Batang Pierre will sit on a 3-point lead at the end of quarter number 1. Gary David got things started para dito sa Batang Pierre, lighting it up from the outside. Deutschmann as well. Solid start para sa kanya. Pero ang Barako Bull has battled back behind DJ Benga. And of course, nakita rin natin yung napakagandang reverse mula dito kay Alain Maliksi. 3-point lead para sa Global. The second quarter coming up sa aming pagbabalik.